Hello, everyone. Hello. And welcome to another Hacktoberfest Thursday. It's Hacktoberfest this month. Sorry, it's almost rude, but I wanted to show off the, the shirt. So along with Jamie, we have a special guest. We have Jeff Crew, who is joining us for the first time. So you can unmute yourself if you want to say hi there, Jeff.
Hello, everyone.
That's great. So Jeff is joining us for the first time on a Hacktoberfest, and I believe this is the first time you've participated in Hacktoberfest. Is that right, Jeff?
Correct. Yes. I've been doing WikiTree for, I think, about 4 or 5 years, but I hadn't contributed anything back. I'm a software engineer, so it's definitely looked at it and say, I'd like to do that. But then this year I saw Hacktoberfest. I said, why don't I jump in? Because usually when I develop side project, it's something like I have a problem of my own that I want to solve. And for me, that problem was like, how can I link my ancestry research and my tree there and give myself like pointers on, have I updated WikiTree? Does my family exist on WikiTree? So that's kind of the problem I wanted to solve, and Hacktoberfest gave me the excuse to work on it finally.
That's great. That's great. So your full-time job is as a software engineer.
Yeah, well, I'm in leadership, but that's kind of the training in the background, and I still dabble in it on my spare time. So
right, yeah. Well, I can see that if your full-time job was programming, then doing programming as a in your off hours, it might just be too much. Like I can see a little bit, taking time to jump into. But we're really glad that you have.
Yes.
Because the more developers, the better. Everyone has fresh ideas, and visually you look a little younger than I think. So probably fresher ideas on how to do things. So that's great. So Jamie, should we just let Jeff go ahead and start just tease us with?
Sure. If you want to show off what you've been working on.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Let me go ahead and present my screen. Let's see, share. And
you've given us this big lead in, and I think if we switch topics, people are going to rebel in the chat. So hello to everyone who is watching us live, by the way, and those who are watching after the fact. Hello to you as well. So Jeff is just loading up the screen there, and then we will share it.
All right. I'm now sharing. Can you see it?
We can see it. Yeah, we've now made it live. Everyone else can see it now too.
Okay, so my name is Jeff Crew, and so unsurprisingly, I have a lot of cousins, aunts, uncles, whatever, named Crew, and one of my goals is to try to get as many of those crews onto WikiTree as possible. And so what I'm sharing is what I've worked on, the tree view of some of my more distant Crew family. William and Mary are my 6th great-grandparents. And so you can see by the little icons that the yellow or orangey icon, it's kind of like a school bus yellow, indicates that this person has been added to WikiTree. And if it's gray, it indicates they have not. So for whatever reason, I have not added this Mary Crew yet. Maybe because she's not married, doesn't have children, maybe. I don't know why, but I have not added her yet. And if you scroll around a little bit, you'll see that I've done pretty well with most of William and Mary Crew's children. And if I extend it down further, you'll see a lot of their grandchildren as well, but not complete. So I have some more work to do. But this family is one of, William and Mary took me probably 5 or 6 years of researching to find. My ancestor is their firstborn, John Crew, who was born somewhere around 1771, but he died before the 1851. So I didn't know where he was born exactly, other than somewhere in Gloucestershire. I finally found his baptism record. I'd had a couple mistaken ones in my tree, but I finally found it where it was indexed on Ancestry as John Cox. And when I looked at it, the actual record it was really John C. and Smudge. And so I took a lot of, I was very proud when I found that, and I realized, well, this makes a lot more sense. John Crew, he was baptized in Poole Keynes, Gloucestershire. I also had to learn a lot of geography to get better. But he grew up in South Cerny, or like he married and lived most of his life. So I originally had him being born somewhere around Bitton. But anyway, I digress. What I wanted to share is that because this is more recent to my tree, this John Crew here is one that I didn't find until just this last winter. And I realized that a little bit like a lot of my other ancestors, he was born in Sittington, but he actually lived out his life in Avening. And I realized this because I found a large cluster of DNA matches that all tracked back to him. And so, it seemed fairly clear to me that that they were coming from this sixth grade uncle of mine or whatever. And so if you look at his children, I haven't done quite as well getting them all into WikiTree yet. However, I think I have added Elizabeth Crew and Humphreys because I saw on the GEDCOM that she linked one of her ancestors or descendants was on WikiTree already, so I wanted to add it. So let me look at her and see if her husband and children are actually in WikiTree. So when you navigate to I don't have a current subscription right now, but when you navigate to the person, you might have seen the little loading shaky tree icon.
Oh.
Reload. And that's the Ancestry match doing its work in
it was very quick.
WikiTree. Yeah, right. It's fairly quick.
So which extension is this, Jeff? Which extension is this again? That's doing
this
all
is
this?
the WikiTree B. So there is the possibility that I could move it into the primary WikiTree extension. I think probably my concern with that is that it requires permissions on all the Ancestry sites, and I would be concerned with people saying like, hey, why are you spying on my Ancestry stuff? Like, this is a WikiTree extension. So to me, the WikiTree B is sort of this external to WikiTree, and WikiTree browser extension is for your experience within WikiTree. But I'm sure Jamie and Ian, who I've been working with, and others could convince me otherwise. But anyway, so what I see here is that it doesn't indicate that any of her family has been moved over. So this little link here links to her profile page. And I see that, oh, no, there is a Samuel Humphreys, mother of Elizabeth, Charlotte, and Mary. So let me go back over here and see why did Charlotte not show up. Oh, I think I see why. So her name is spelled fairly dramatically differently over here. And this is, early records, one kid to the next may be given different names on their baptism. So I'm going to go ahead and just say, well, let's probably use the more common spelling that the family preferred and update that and see if that helps. Yep. And it automatically saw an update, and it now has connected Charlotte to the WikiTree profile that exists. And if I navigate to her, it'll check. And yes, it caught her husband. And I don't know if I have any of her children in WikiTree yet. No children yet. So that's an accurate depiction of what the status is. So her husband, her parents are both in, but she's not, her children are not. So if I go here back to John Crew, and I can look at his descendants.
Fast. Jeff, that was super fast. You just changed the spelling of her name, and then instantly the extension knew that she was a match. That's
correct. Correct. And also, if basically it's looking for any change on this right column over here, and so changing a name, changing a date will cause it to recheck, and it takes the person who you're looking at and does a call to the WikiTree API to say, give me all their family members. And then it tries to match them. As you can tell, it doesn't do like a phonetic match of like, well, Humphreys with EY and Humphreys IE sound the same, so maybe they should be a match. Unfortunately, doesn't, not that clever yet. But it does try to do, give a little bit of leeway. I actually worked on some changes yesterday to give a lot more leeway when it comes to parents and spouses. Although for children, it's still children and siblings, it's fairly strict, because I've seen many instances where, like, maybe John Crew born and died in 1833, and then another John Crew born in 1834. So I don't want to make those match each other. With siblings and children, you might have multiple of the same name, but most likely you don't have two parents with the exact same name or two spouses with the exact same name. With spouses, I think it tries to avoid like matching against your married name. So you might have, you might have two spouses named Mary Crew, but they probably have different maiden names, and so it's trying to match those maiden names. So anyway, this is how I can kind of look at WikiTree, and I can see here are the descendants of John Crew, and I can get a little bit of an idea on those. I can also kind of compare back and forth. Hey, maybe there's people on WikiTree that aren't in my tree. So far, I'm the main person working on these branches of the family tree, so I haven't found a ton, but I have found sometimes when you get down to those more distant connections, occasionally I have found places where I do intersect with other families, and I have discovered more distant cousins that way. So this is one example of how I can track the progress of a branch of my tree that I've just discovered on Ancestry, and I'm trying to migrate over to WikiTree. Another example, something I might do, I might know, for example, that Marie Catherine Routier is on WikiTree, and yet it is not linked right now. So it doesn't have an ID here. That means it's not linked. How do I know that she's on WikiTree? Well, because WikiTree told me that Greg Clark and I share a common ancestor named Catherine Routier. So I know she must be there. And so it's just a matter of now trying to link up my tree with the WikiTree and the plugin. And basically, it's the plugin is saving this into like it's something called IndexedDB, if there's any programmers out there, which is in your browser. At some point, I'll probably add a way to export it so that you could, if you change browsers or if you get a new computer, you can export your work and you haven't lost it all. But right now, it's stored within your browser's memory. But I've already kind of poked around a little bit. So Pierre Drolet is Catherine's husband. And if I navigate to him, you'll see it did a check, and it didn't find Marie Catherine, although it's found most of their children. And if I look, so I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 children who are on WikiTree. Let's look over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oops. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Looks like 10. So it looks like all the family members that it connected are there, but there's a couple. Valentine died young. He hasn't been added. Marie-Therese, these are all children who died young. They should be added, but it's a little bit understandable that no one has added them yet if they don't descend from them. So these are people that I would like to add at some point. And this gives you a very clear way to visualize that they have not been added. But Marie Catherine also is not showing up. So let's look over Catherine and see why. Well, part of its why is her name is Catherine over here. And so if you saw before, one way I can fix it is I can change her name and it'll recheck. But another way, if you're just starting with the plugin, to kind of seed the tree, you can come over, copy her ID from WikiTree, and then I can go back and copy it in here. Oops. And if I paste it in there, it basically validates that person exists. I think, I don't know for sure, but I don't believe her parents were linked. And I think they just linked. And if I check the siblings, in fact, so it only links from the profile page. As if you're walking around on this view, it doesn't attempt to link them. But if I look at her siblings, it looks like, I don't really have most of her siblings fully set up yet. But if I go back and I expand the siblings, maybe one or two of them will then match up. Yep. So now two of them are connected between the plugin. This is someone, I won't do it. I don't need to do tree cleanup right now. You don't need to watch me do that. But so that's kind of how you can get started with someone. And then, as I said, I know that this person is in WikiTree because the entire connection to Greg exists. So I can come down and kind of view her tree and see if all of her children. So I know that it's through the Robitai, I think how I would pronounce it. This is the connection. I see several of those children have not been connected yet. I don't recall which one is the connection for me. It's not there. It's Romaine. Oh, the little through lines icons tell me. All right, so looks like they're already connected. I probably already walked this, and then topping, etc. And they have a bunch of children. Now, see it as you extend your tree, it goes like on this view, it rematches everything to check.
Yeah, it just
and
it
this
just
one
turned orange, didn't it?
Yeah. So it was because I extended the tree, it kind of re-renders it, and then it's going to that database in the browser to see are they there. Maybe I can find a way that I don't have to like have that flashy, but it was because I went ahead and see I extended the tree that it's like rechecking because there's new people on the page that it needs to go check to see do they exist. So here is this is the branch, and following this down a couple more generations gets down to my family. But you can see that if there are family members who I think maybe are already in WikiTree, then I can just go to one of the profiles and it will attempt. So these children, it looks like there's two children that are in WikiTree as of there. These other four are not. I'm not sure why not. So I can go over to WikiTree and I can see, well, they're not in WikiTree. So that tells me they're not there.
And how easy is it now to take them, copy them from Ancestry and create a profile in WikiTree?
So right now, not terribly easy. What I've been doing is typically I'll have GetCom set up, and then I'll kind of look through here, see who's in, and if they're not in, I'll go over to the GetCom and see how can I get them connected. I was looking into the WikiTree B extension a little bit, and it has this way to kind of create a new profile based on relation. So I can pretty trivially say, like, if I know that the father is already linked, I could add that onto this little UI and say, well, father equals this because I know. And if you hover over these, it's a little finicky because there's a like kind of overlapping UI with the Ancestry UI. But Robitai 147 is the father, so I could automatically add that on this and integrate it more. So Ian is the owner and maintainer of WikiTree B. I'll check with him if he has any strong opinions. But like, I think
what he's suggesting is that, well, the B does have an option to do that. The one that many people are often use is the WikiTree Sourcer extension. And I don't know if you're familiar with that one, but it also has, that's Rob Pavey's extension. And it has the option now to copy the data, which including the sources from Ancestry, to create a profile on WikiTree. So I
Ah,
think between
right.
your extension here, which is amazing to show what's there and what's not, and then either the bee or the sorcerer extension to copy the sources, this would be what a powerful 1-2 punch.
Yes. Yes, that's kind of the hope, and trying to automate that for people. And so I do have the sorcerer. Haven't used I've used the sources when I go into, and I'm trying to add just like a specific record. Like if I found someone's death record and it
Right.
wasn't there on WikiTree, I'll go and I'll use a source and I'll copy that citation. But I haven't used it to create profiles. So that's definitely something I'd be excited to look into more and figure out.
I use, for the longest time, I thought it was only, that was the one thing it did was, you know, you're at one record and it copies that and creates the citation and the narrative for it. And then someone said, well, but it can do this other stuff. And then it's just mind blown.
Yeah, that would be pretty powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I saw something about not using Ancestry. So what I've done should be fairly easy to extend to other sites. I know last time I said potentially MyHeritage. I was looking through some other comments somewhere, and I saw the GenieNet. Some people use GenieNet, so that's something like I could add it there. And then there's also the suggestion of Family Search. The thing about Family Search is that it's a one tree, and this is sort of intended for private trees. So to me, it feels like maybe a more native WikiTree solution for integrating or like linking between them makes more sense. But if there are, I'm open to suggestions, whether people want to see this on MyHeritage or on GenieNet or Filet or whatever big sites that people use.
Okay, that's good. There was one other question.
I want to see it on MyHeritage.
Oh,
my tree on there, like they have some really good Swedish records, or like search for Swedish records. So like I have some Swedish stuff on there that I haven't yet moved over to WikiTree because I've been kind of lazy. But yeah, it might be helpful.
Yeah. That's a good one. There was a question in the chat that I starred so that we could come back to it. And is there any way of is there a way of linking? So there is a way of linking Ancestry and Family Search. Is there a way of adding integration for WikiTree? So one thing you can do if you're on an Ancestry profile is you can add a web link. And so I've done this for a lot of mine, is just grab the URL of the profile from WikiTree and add that as a web link in Ancestry. So you can go, but if you're using your extension, then your extension just automatically can toggle back and forth, right?
Yes, here I can share again. But right now I have, let's see. Oops, why is my, yeah, was bringing up MyHeritage in the background. So right now this little link is a link to the WikiTree. You can also remove that link if it's linked incorrectly. That was another thing. I don't know if we showed that off last time, but you can also, it does a search. And so if it hasn't found them, or it attempts to find them, again, when you're trying to like seed someone, you can see, and hopefully that was the right person. Yeah, it looks like it was the same person it was linked to. So if something goes wrong with this automatic checking, again, I'm really kind of concerned about like two siblings with the same names, one of them like who died in infancy. But if for some reason it gets it wrong, you can always remove it and set a new one. And as you can tell, it will attempt to give you some pointers, and that will vary a lot from family to family how well that works. I think as names become a lot more common, it gets a little easier. With these early French settlers in Quebec, names, I have a branch of my tree that Isabel's, and sometimes it's Isabel with a Z, sometimes it's ELLE, sometimes just EL, and each child has a different one. And topping TOPPING, sometimes TOPAN, can be really convoluted and tricky to find them. So yeah, so part of why MyHeritage, you can see I have 2 trees of 52,000, a little bit over the 500 limit for a non-paid account. But I am definitely open to adding to the plugin to extend it to MyHeritage.
Wow, that's very impressive, Jeff. That was great. Fantastic. And Eric has had one. Yeah, as Ian said, use Sorcerer. You can copy full profiles with sources over with a click. Yeah, that's great.
All right.
So is this feature available in B right now, or is it still in development?
I think Ian would have to share. I think there's 2 versions. There's a preview and the fully released one. I don't think it's in the full one yet, but it may be available in the preview version, which is kind of like a beta version.
Yeah. Well, so if it's because I was going to ask you to show how you enable it in the options, or will it be automatically enabled?
Not automatically enabled, but yeah, I can show that real quickly.
Okay.
Oops. Present again.
It's in B preview. Preview. I don't know why that word was hard for me to say.
Preview. Yeah. Yeah, so if you click on the little extension, you can also find it if you click on the extensions. And then you can, whoops, it took me over here. You can scroll down, and this is the option for the feature that I created. And maybe if I add it to various other trees, maybe there's multiple selections here for whether you want to allow it on Ancestry, MyHeritage. The WikiTree B already has permissions to most of the major sites, I think, so shouldn't be adding much. But again, if you're concerned about a plugin being able to see your page, I think being able to turn it on and off is a nice ability.
Yeah, definitely. Good. Excellent. So thank you very much again.
My pleasure.
Fantastic. Jamie, do you want to go through some of this other stuff?
Sure. So this past week, Ian added 2 features, including one that I think might have just been added this morning or yesterday. So the first is the ability to hide appreciation posts from the side of a profile, which I guess was a suggestion that he got, and it was pretty easy, so he did it. And I didn't know how to show this off like live without releasing private information for people, so I just have like a screenshot, and I'll show you how to enable it on your own browser extension. So let me do that. Share screen. Is it this screenshot? So I can't see anything else. So hopefully, can you see this?
Yeah, now you're sharing.
So yeah, over on the side there are these appreciation posts on my profile.
Congratulations.
You can see.
Wonderful WikiTree.
I mean, I don't think I deserve as much appreciation as I get, but
oh, you do.
So yeah, so I hid stuff on there. So these are the posts that Ian allows you to hide now. So you can just see if there's any other posts on the side, because sometimes they kind of clutter stuff up. And so to do that, where
you just stopped.
Yeah, because I think I only shared that one.
Okay.
One thing, and I think I have to show my whole window.
Do you want me to share? Do you want to talk me through it then?
And Aaron says all developers deserve more appreciation than they get. Yes, all. They definitely deserve more appreciation than I do for the Git or for the collaborative projects. Like especially Ian, he does a lot.
Ian.
So everyone give Ian a round of applause.
Yes, Ian has been very helpful, kind of allowing me to jump in and say, hey, I have a feature I want to do, and he was like, all right, here are your options, and he really helped me out a lot. So
yeah, Ian is great with anything browser extension related.
Yeah.
And he originally had started B, and I don't think the collaborative browser extension would have worked without
No.
him working on it, just because like he moved a whole bunch of features from his over, and he basically took control of maintaining it, which is great because I'm a lot slower at getting through PRs than he is. Okay, let me see if I can share. Greg's showing. Okay, yeah, Greg, if you want
So
to.
you talk me through it now.
Okay, so go to this.
Now, I only have the one.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay, so this will work. So go
Yeah.
to the browser extension.
Okay, right up here.
And then the feature is the readability options.
Okay, so I can't make it any bigger than that. Sorry, folks.
You can use the new search, right?
Yeah, you could use the search. I've been using it quite a bit.
Oh,
Stuff,
what am I looking for?
Readability options.
Readability. There it is.
You can see it, and it's one of the options. So if you click Show Options and go down to where it says Hide Profile Elements, and then there's one that says, Hide G Appreciation Posts.
If I hit Always.
Yeah.
There we go.
And then refresh the page and see what happens.
Yeah, there's no apply button. It just happens automatically when you change the.
Yeah.
But you do have to refresh the page. So
Yes.
I'll refresh here.
So we'll hopefully see. And then see the appreciation.
There. Yeah. See? No one appreciates me anymore.
Your profile is a good one to do this for, because like all my posts would have disappeared, so it would have just shown nothing. So that's good. So yeah, so that was one feature Ian added, and then the other one. I guess I can show this one because it doesn't really need any privacy things. Okay, present, share screen. And yeah, I think I mentioned before that Ian said that was a requested feature. Is this new one requested as well, Ian, for the merge buttons?
Merge.
I don't remember what it's called. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's the merge. It's being able to filter the merge requests.
Okay, so that's not it. Am I sharing my screen?
You are now.
Okay, so on the Browse Matches page, sometimes there's some stuff that people can't complete, like pre-1500 merges or private stuff. So now there's a new feature, which is called Pending Merges Filters. So if you enable that and refresh, hopefully, I'm outside, so hopefully the internet's going to load.
So he said that Darren Kellett was the one who requested this feature.
And so now you can see that there's some buttons down here. So you can hide all the merges where there's a profile that's not open, or pre-1700, or pre-1500. And I don't know. So yeah.
So how many do you have on this page right now?
I think it's of well, I just realized that I actually probably shouldn't scroll down if there's a private profile, because
are there private ones?
Information.
Okay.
So I'm terrible at being able to show stuff for the browser extension because I have to like hide stuff.
Okay.
But so here's a pre-1700 one, so I might be able just to click this button and see what happens. Okay, so
and it's gone.
And now I'm gonna get off the private thing. Yeah, there. Sorry, whoever's profile that was. Okay, and now I'm gonna stop sharing.
Okay.
So I don't do anything else. Okay, and so that was that feature. So thank you, Ian, for that one. I actually had to, I use Brave browser, and the preview extension, like this feature was so new, my extension hadn't updated yet, and it wasn't updating to the newest version. So I had to like uninstall it and then reinstall it so it would work. And then what else? Ian also wrote a nice script to help people set up new features in the WikiTree browser extension, because like I had written the tutorial the other day, and there's quite a few steps. Like you have to make folders here and then add a line to this file, And so he wrote a script to do all of that. I didn't get a chance to try it out yet, so I'm definitely not ready to demo it. But look for instructions on how to do that soon if they're not already in the documentation. And then there was one other thing to show off. So my mind is blanking on his name. So let me go to Discord real fast. It's Joel Richard.
Okay.
He has been working on improving the printer friendly view.
Right.
It's still very much in progress. So he sent two PDFs to show what the current version looks like and what the version he's working on looks like. So I will show those off real fast. So here is the before, or what it looks like now. So there's 4 generations of ancestors and then the starting person. And so I will show the new one now. So he added the starting person up at the top, so he fit in an extra generation.
Nice.
So this is what he's working on. He's still working on it, but so look forward to this being in Tree Apps pretty soon.
Excellent. That's good.
But I think that was all I had to show off today. I may have forgotten something. If I did, I'm sorry. I'll show it off next week.
Okay, yeah.
But we have one big exciting app that's new.
Yes, we do.
Greg is going to show off.
There we go. Yes. So I'm going to show off. Let me share my screen. Yes, brand new tree app that was in the newsletter this week, but apparently got some coverage during the Sourceathon, because someone had mentioned they'd seen it previewed during the Sourceathon. So I'm not sure who did that or when it was. If I had to guess, I would say Sandy Paddock, because she loves checking out the new tree apps, but I don't know. I can't say for sure. But anyways, we're starting at my my great-grandfather, our grandfather, and we're going into tree apps. And the new tree app is called the Slippy Tree, because you can just sort of slide through your ancestry and your family tree that way. And this has been created by Anonymous Bremford. Are we allowed to say what his first name is?
I don't know. So just
okay.
What he uses on WikiTree.
That's right. His user on WikiTree, he's known as Anonymous Bremford. Now we actually know his name because we get emails back and forth, and he hasn't changed his Gmail client to say Anonymous is the first name. But anyway, so thank you very much for doing this. It's very, very cool. And he's been constantly updating it and adding features to it and whatnot. So the primary person was William Norman Lionel Douglas. And so he is the one right in the center there. And you can see, big red rectangle around him. So he's the primary person. And obviously going to the right, those are his children, Dwight and Suzanne. And going to the left are his parents, Herbert, Lionel, and Sophia. But all these lines are different colors and they're different widths, and that they all signify something. So the blue ones, as you probably would have guessed, the blue ones are the male connection, the father's connection. So the father's connection to each of his children, And the red or pink ones are the mother's connection to each of their children. The thickness of the lines indicates their status in terms of it. So the super thick ones are the ones that are DNA confirmed. And because these are my ancestors and I have DNA confirmed out to my four levels of ancestors, Dwight, William Normal Ninel, and Herbert, and as well as Sophia, those are all DNA confirmed. So those are the thickest lines. And then the ones that are not, the ones that are, what's the word, confident, are the next level of thickness. And then the ones that are uncertain, I don't know if any of these are uncertain, would be thinner lines. And I think if you have uncertain, and I don't have any uncertain in my initial tree here to show you, but the uncertain ones I think have dotted lines. Is that right, Jamie? So.
If you click on the help icon, there's like a little image that show. Oh, not that help.
Not that help.
The big purple one.
This help icon.
Yeah, there's a little explanation.
There you go. So I didn't even need to say anything. I should just say, just look at this. But look at all these details. So yeah, so you've got the focus person. I already mentioned that. The confirmed, confident, and then non-biological. Oh, so if it's green instead of pink or blue, then that's indicates non-biological. Multiple marriages can be connected this way. There's the uncertain. Yes, so it's not dotted, it's dashed lines. He's added this feature so you can highlight things. So obviously the WikiTree members are highlighted. I'm further up, so none of these are low enough to be highlighted, the WikiTree members, in the display I'm showing you. But I will show you this green highlight, the ability that he has to highlight different people. And if you have a scroll wheel, you can actually use that to zoom in and out. I'm using my trackpad, so that's what I am using. So I'm going to zoom. There we go. So you see William actually was married twice. There's Margaret. Ashley was his first wife. And then Thelia Dorothy was his second wife. And you can see that both of his two children came from one from each marriage. So you can see his blue connection from William to both of his children, Dwight and Suzanne. But then the first wife is the mother of Dwight, and the second wife, Thelia, is the mother of Suzanne. And now, I don't know if I can get to any close double cousin marriages or whatever, but it's really neat how this works for something like that. Let me go. If I click on a certain person, so say I click on I can load all those ancestors, and they just automatically slip into view. And if I take one of them, say I take William, and I want to load all his descendants, then it's just going to add that layer to the tree, and then you see it just. So you can really go nuts exploring all these different things. And I was saying that there is the highlighting. So there's highlight. So Darlene actually is a WikiTree member. And where's the other highlights? I want to highlight. Okay, what? I have scrolled out of view. Where? I've lost the controls up top. Where have they gone, Jamie?
Maybe just refresh the page.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Okay, there we go. Oh, look at this. There we go. So now, by going to the help there's this highlight, and what it's done is actually it's found all the categories on the people that are being shown on the tree. So I don't even know who put death from tuberculosis category on any of my people. Oh, That's interesting. But I know that a number of my relatives ended up in the Markdale area. So if I click on the Markdale Cemetery, now some of those people should show up. Let me zoom out. There we go. There's Arthur. There's one of them. Shows up in that category. You see the green there. So it's kind of a neat way of highlighting individuals and going through that. So, yeah. What else should I show about this?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's super slick and powerful. And like you can even see it shows the wedding dates, like the amount of information, just, you know, appreciating it from a programmer's point of view, the amount of information that's stored, like so much of it is conveyed is graphically, but it's so I don't know, it's so succinct, or it's beautifully rendered, and it works very smoothly. Adding or subtracting branches, it's very, very cool. So I'm very impressed with it. Oh, and says it was Sandy who was one of the show during the chats. Not surprised. Yeah. So anyways, please take time to explore with this, and if you find things that are not working quite right, then let the programmer know.
Yeah, he's been very quick to fix bugs. Like, I think some people already noticed one, and he had a pull request in yesterday, and I just submitted it today, and it's working. So
yeah, he's great.
Yeah. So Anonymous has also been doing other work on Tree apps. So he went through and fixed like 6 different views, because I guess they weren't closing everything out properly when you would switch. So that's what I was reviewing right before this. So it's not live yet, but yeah. So it yeah.
Okay. Or are any of those mine? Probably.
Yes, one of
or all the mine?
No. But I know one of them was, and I can't remember which one. Okay. But it wasn't. Like some of them are just like 1-line code fixes.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, sometimes if that's, you know, even a 1-line code fix is great. If you know, it needs to be done by somebody. Yeah. So if you haven't contributed anything yet and you see a bug, even if it's something small, feel free to jump in. Well, I'll be very happy.
Very, very happy indeed. Yes.
Oh, and I did remember, if you're done with WikiTree, I did remember one thing I forgot to talk about.
Okay.
So Brian Casey, who is our main programmer, he posted in the WikiTree apps Google group. Mm-hmm. So right now there are quite a lot of tree apps. Mm-hmm. And as time goes on, that list is going to grow longer. So we're thinking about ways to maybe divide them into categories and maybe have a different sort of menu system. So so if you have ideas, there's the post in the Google group. I also started a thread in Discord under the Hacktoberfest channel. It's called Tree Apps Categories. So if you have ideas, please join in the discussion so we can maybe spec that out and maybe get it done this month during Hacktoberfest.
Mm-hmm. That'd be great.
Yes.
That would be super, yeah. Kay's put in a comment here that if any developer wants to incorporate a biocheck in their app and has questions, that she just let her know. And Kay is great to work with because I have added biocheck into the fan chart and have I added it into the super tree? I'm not sure if I've added it to the super tree, but I'm planning to. Yeah, so that's very useful. So thanks, Kay, for that. Yeah. Yeah, so that's it. I've started back working on the mystery app that I'm working on, which will be revealed at some point shortly. So I'm not going to say any more about that.
Yeah, we still have 21 days left of Hacktober.
We got lots of time. Yeah, we end on Halloween, don't we?
We do. I think we have.
How perfect is that? Yes, this is great.
Yeah.
Oh, the space page drafts. Yes, the free space pages. Now with WikiTree, the WikiTree browser extension actually saves the drafts, so you don't lose stuff. And I don't know.
We've been taking too long getting it done officially.
Oh, was that supposed to be a core function?
It was, yeah. It's been on the list for 2 years at least, I think.
Oh yeah.
It just hasn't bubbled up to the top of the priority list, unfortunately, no matter how much I push for it.
No matter how much. Yeah. So, anyways, I don't have a free space page right at hand to show that, but basically, I suspect it'll work just like the profile drafts, right? After a certain amount of time, then it'll just save a draft so that if something were to happen, like the power goes off or whatever, you'll at least have something saved and you won't lose all that work. So that's great. That's a huge thing. Ian, thank you for that. And I think the list of things that I remember to write down are now all done. Do you have anything else, Jamie?
Oh, Ian says that his drafts or the drafts save every keystroke. So it's not even every minute.
Every keystroke? How do you do that? How is that possible? Wow.
I'm trying to think of what else. So I know that there's 2 people that are working on other things that I think both of them are for tree apps. They just weren't ready to show it this week, so look forward to that soon.
Ooh.
Yeah, I think that might be it.
Great. Okay then. Well, thanks for joining us today, Jeff. It was great having you. Come back anytime.
It's my pleasure. And I am on Discord if people want to share feedback or questions or ask for what to focus on. Feel free.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you very much, Jeff. That was
Yeah,
very exciting. Especially for the teaser last week was just a couple screenshots and then we couldn't actually do anything. So it's so wonderful.
Yeah, but people are really excited about it, even with just the screenshots.
Yeah. That's right. So it's great that's there now. So super. Thanks again, Jamie, for joining me here. And
thanks for hosting.
No problem. My pleasure. If you thank me for it, I guess I won't see it now because we've hidden all those appreciation messages. That's okay. Anyways, thanks everyone. Have a great week, and we will see you here next week, same time, same bat channel, Thursday, 1 p.m. Eastern time. So see you later. Happy Hacktoberfesting.
Yes.